what your bio is going to be. So just a little bit of an introduction to yourself. This section's quite flexible, so you can make this as long as you like. You can describe obviously a little bit about your background, where you're based, what kind of projects you've been involved in. You can even add in pictures and videos in here, which is quite cool. So I'll just go and show you the process of doing that. So I want to add in an image. By default, most images on here will try and add in the smallest size. So I can change that by toggling this selection and selecting, in this example, I'm going to select the original image size. And I'm going to upload an image. So actually, let me go back because you probably wouldn't have seen that. The first thing you actually got to do is your image will be uploaded in this section up here where it says upload image. So that's a link. If I click that, it will come up with this screen where I can select a file. Today I'm going to select a file from my computer. I'm going to select this image here. And this could be an image perhaps of your group, if your group has a logo. It could be an image of your property or a project that you've taken a picture of, whatever you like it to be. And I'm going to simply insert that. So I've clicked insert, and that's just put it into my editing screen that I had up before. So the other thing I can add in here is links as well. So I could potentially type in my group name, highlight that. And when I click the little chain button there, that'll bring up an insert link editing area. I would just paste in my URL there. Group name, new window, and that will simply create a link. So that can link back to your group site, or it could link back to whatever you'd like it to link to, really. Once you've done all your editing for your bio, you can just hit save. And that has saved my changes onto my profile. The other key bit, which I completely forgot to go to first, and that is seen across the site, is your profile image. So what I'll do, clicking it just opens up your profile, so don't do that. Go to the button underneath where it says change your picture. I'm going to click that. And again, this screen pops up where I'm going to select a file from my computer. So you can reposition that however you need to. I'm going to save that. So that's cropped it for me as a square image. And then I'm going to hit upload. And there's my image. So now I've got a profile picture. Again, I'll take you through privacy settings in a second, but this will generally showcase on any posts I make. So keep that in mind. I'll go back through the remaining items which you can fill in about yourself on your profile. And a lot of these will just help not only obviously showcase more information about you, what your interests are and what you've been doing in the Landcare universe, but it also helps people, other people find you. So a lot of this is searchable if you nominate it to be in your account settings. So this area here where it says what best describes your role, that's based on what you would have input when you first opened the account. You can edit this item. So each of these has a pencil next to it if you've already input information. If you hit the pencil, that enables you to edit it. So I can further select here that I'm also a farmer, and I'm going to hit save. And that tags me as a farmer as well. So when we go to the directory, which we'll go to very soon, people can filter the directory based on some of this information. So you can connect with other farmers or other primary producers and collaborate with them on whatever topics or projects you like. We also have a section here where you can showcase the country you live or work on. So again, you can input that. Either you'll see an add button like down here, or you can hit the pencil if you've already input information. The other bits you can input here, and these relate back to a lot of the topics and hashtags that I used across this communities and across this site. I can add a topic of interest. So these are all based on those 12 communities of practice that we saw on the homepage. So I can nominate that I'm particularly interested in training and personal development. And that just lets, again, other people know that I'm interested in those things. So you can find people that have common interests with you. It also lets the platform know that these are interests I have. And based on that, the platform will display more of that type of content to you when you are logged in. So that's pretty easy to edit that part. There are a couple of other fields which are very much Landcare related. So as part of this year's conference, there was a call out for all Landcarers to have a commitment for 2023. So you can add that commitment in here. So I'm just going to put plant a tree. So whatever your commitment is, you can display it here so everyone else can see. So I'm going to save that. And that adds that to my profile. There's also two other fields here. So you can add in what groups you're part of. So it's a text field, so you can simply just add that in. And then the last field is my history with Landcare. So we're very aware that some people have been working on Landcare projects and part of Landcare groups for quite some time. So you can fully write your history of where you started off with Landcare, how many projects you've been involved in, and just showcase all of that to any potential member that might be interested. The other parts of this page you can see here, you can nominate any social link. So if you have a Facebook page or any other social page that you'd wish to display on here, you can actually provide a link to that. So it's simple as if I add a Facebook link, you've got to add in your handle, your Facebook handle there, and that will connect it with Facebook and then display it as a link on this page. So I've added in my LinkedIn. So if I click that, that would just go to my LinkedIn page. There are two core features which we are currently still working on, but we'll have up very soon. And these are ribbons and badges. So ribbons will be something that you can earn from activities you do on this community as well as outside in Landcare. So we're still working on what those ribbons are, but for the moment, the community manager of Landcarer has a ribbon, so you'll see a ribbon for them when they make a post, so you can recognise them. And we'll be working on some ribbons for NRM members and as well for Routh members as well. And then from there, we'll probably expand that, but we'll let you know as we work on that part of the project. It's very similar with badges. So you'll be able to earn badges for different things that you do on the site, as well as potentially offline as well through your Landcare project activities. So they will appear down here, and again, we'll let you know once we've launched that program. So that's your main profile. I will take you into your account settings, particularly your privacy settings next. Keep in mind that when you log into your profile, you can see all this information, but depending on what your settings are, others may not. So I can see everything because this is my account. But if I go into my account, which is the tab up towards the right-hand side of my screen, and if I select privacy settings, this will take me to my privacy settings. So here I can fully toggle what I would like to display to not only members of the public, but also other people on this platform. The members only, that just refers to users of this platform. It's not talking about any memberships in particular. It's just the wording that this platform uses. So what the first main one is, you can do a complete toggle on and off to be part of the directory. So if you don't want to be found in the directory, you just turn that toggle to no, and you won't be listed in the directory. So if you want to keep your profile private, that's the way to go. I'm going to keep mine on yes. And then I'll just give you a glance of all the other settings which you have at hand. So I can turn my picture off to certain parties. So at the moment, I've got my picture turned on that anyone logged in with their account will be able to see my picture. But I can change this to all of the public. I can change it to just me, or I can change it to just my contacts, which I'll take you through. So you can connect with members and effectively have a small group of people that you're comfortable sharing information with. So they're the options you have, and you have those options across what people see in terms of your network, any company or organisation information that you've input. If you've input your job title or department, any addresses, city, country, all of these details, which you don't need to input, but if you wish to, they are there. So you can change all of that. Probably the more important ones are email address. If you do not wish for people to see your email address, I would suggest you change it to only me. However, if you're a group or if you're part of a group and you've registered as your group's email address and you would like to be contacted for opportunities or collaboration or anything, maybe you would like to keep that public. So have a think about what it is that you'd like everyone to see. You can hide certain aspects of your profile, like the bio that we just updated, or if you want to hide some of your interest information or your Landcare group information, you can toggle that on and off as you wish. So once you've changed your settings to what you're comfortable with, you hit Save Changes, and that will save those changes for me. So that's your privacy. I will quickly go to email preferences. So here, depending on what communities you become a member of, so I'll take you through communities soon as well, but essentially you can become a follower of a particular community, so a particular topic, and then you can from there nominate whether you want to receive regular notifications about what's going on in that community. And you can also nominate how you want to receive emails from when you're participating in discussions, or if there's any other email activities that we're doing in here. So we don't tend to do promotional activities through this platform. So that's it's something that you don't need to worry too much about, but you can toggle that on or off. The only one that you can't toggle off is system emails. That's just because those emails tend to be your password resets or something to do with opening or closing your account. So it's information that you do need to receive. But other than that, you can toggle off this, this section, and that will completely overwrite those settings for you. There is also a community notifications area, which if you have emails set on, you can further tailor to what exactly you want to see per community. So here I can choose to have no emails about particular topics. I can choose to have a personal digest, which I think sends either daily or weekly, depending on your nominated settings in the community. Or I can select to have real-time discussions emailed to me if I'm super keen on seeing everything that's happening as it's happening in the community. So you can toggle those on and off. It's the settings below. So these are communities I've become a member of and I've nominated specifically to receive emails, discussions, in a particular way. So I've become a member of the climate change and impacts community, and I want to receive those emails in real time. So that's what I've set that to. So you can change these at any time. You can start off with real time or daily digest, and if you find that it's just not working for you, you can simply just nominate to have no email. So you have full control of that. You also, I mentioned before that you can have connections on here. So I'll take you through the directory where you can find other users. But once you do add them, you can have your own contact list here. So these are my contacts. You can send them private messages, so you don't need to have a whole discussion that everyone can see. You can send people individual messages here. Those messages get collected up in your personal inbox via this platform. These are very similar to the emails that if you nominate to receive the emails, they're the same emails that you would get. So you can access all of that through the platform. So what I'll do now, so we've gone through I know it's been very quick, but if you do have any questions, please note them in the chat and we can discuss them. But that's the very quick overview of updating your profile and just having a quick look at your core privacy settings and your core notification settings. So what I'll do is I'll go to the directory next. This directory, by the way, is only accessible if you are a logged in user. So the public can't access this section. They can't search for users. So this is a nice feature where if you do know a person, you can literally just type in their name and search for them that way. You can also search by user nominated interest. So this was in relation to what we just updated on your profile. So if you've nominated any of these and you've also allowed in your privacy settings that to come up in these searches, other users of Landcarer can actually find you based on these interests or based on your role that you've nominated. So remember, if you don't want to come up in these searches, just toggle that setting off in your privacy settings. So what I'm going to do is I'll just do a quick example where I'm just going to search for Emily Mason, who is our lovely community manager on here. And I'm going to go find user. So there's Emily Mason. She was who I was looking for. She obviously has a community manager badge. So that's an example of how that displays on the network. Her email address is displayed here because she has that toggled on. If you don't wish to have your email address display in a search, make sure that you toggle that setting off, just because it will display here if it's not otherwise set to turn off. So I can, from here, access Emily's profile. I can send her a contact request if I'd like to connect with her. I can send her a message, and I can just view her general profile if I wish to. So that's how you use the directory over there. I will probably now stop for some questions if anyone has had any questions about what they've seen so far.
Frank asked if you can upload more than one image to your profile. He was considering putting like a before and after image in. Is the profile the best place to put that sort of thing?
Update. I believe you could put more than one image in here, but let me try and see if I can do that. Depending on what you're trying to achieve with putting in the before and after image, you may find it's more appropriate to to start a discussion about it. But what I'll just do, so I'll just select another image here. This is quite a big image, so just watch your image sizes as well. But I've again selected that I want it to be original image, but the platform can crop it for you if need be. Insert image, there you go. So you can upload more than one image into there. And if I save that, there you go. So it can definitely do that for you.
Amazing. Someone else has asked, other than getting the email digest notifications, does Landcarer have like an internal notification system so they can keep up with all the new content that gets posted?
You do have, you might notice up on mine, because I've not been very good at looking. So I look at most of my Landcarer emails in my email inbox, but it does actually give you notifications here. So it says I've got 41 because I've not been keeping up with this. So if I go back to my inbox, this actually shows all of those unread messages via this platform. So that's one way of keeping up with those messages. So if you're getting other users contacting you, or if you're getting messages from different communities you're subscribed to, they will appear here. The other way probably to keep track of that is via the member home. So when you log in, you'll default to seeing this page. So this is your digest of information that you're either following or most likely interested in based on the nominated interests and tags that you've been interacting with. So does that answer that question?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Any other questions at this point?
There was just one from Hunter about if this the privacy information is accessible to Landcare Australia, and I think you also went through that in the privacy settings, where you showed the sort of information you can toggle that's on and off, that's visible to others or not. But yeah, that was his question.
So the privacy information, the information you've input is obviously available through the platform and will likely be seen by an admin. But as long as you've toggled it to only display to yourself, no one else will see that. So it's really up to you how much information you want to add to the site. As we went through when we first created, or when I looked at the creating an account, you only really need to input your name and email address to begin with. If you choose to upload more than that, I would go back through here and just make sure that you're comfortable with all the main settings for all the different parts of your account. And if you don't wish to input information, then you just don't input it. That's probably how I would answer that.
Great. Well, I think that's all the questions so far, but I'll check back in with you at the end.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, well, I'll continue on. So the next part we were going to have a look at was just the communities of practice. So as I mentioned I'll go back to the homepage just because that's a nice visual view of all of the communities. So these are all the 12 main communities. So I can go through, I'm going to go have a look at the farming community. So if I have an interest in this particular area, this just gives me a nice snapshot of all the discussions, any blog posts, and also access to the libraries and potentially members of people that are in this community. So each of these is a separate community of those 12. I can also access the communities through the top navigation menu. So if I toggle that drop down, that'll give me the 12 there. We'll go through adding a library resource, but each community has its own discussion board. It has its own library, its own blog, and its own event board. So when you are thinking about uploading something here, or if you want to share some information, have a think about where it fits in. This just creates a better user experience for I guess for everyone, where they can get quite granular with how they want to show their content and to who they want to show their content. So I guess when we sort of tidied up the previous version of this platform, one of the core things that we noticed from user feedback was that it was really difficult to go back in and find information and find posts. So this way, we've chosen to filter it based on these key topic areas, with the hope that it's a sort of a nicer filing system. So if you ever do want to reference previous discussions or find resources that have been uploaded, they are uploaded per community. So there is a way, when we were on the homepage, I'll just quickly go back so you can see it. If you're just generally interested in most of these topics, you can go in and see all blog articles or all discussions or all library entries via the links on that homepage. So that might be useful to some, but otherwise you can just track what you are directly interested in. So when you first go to the community, I am a member of all the communities, but there will usually be a join button, so you can join the community, and from there you can then toggle your settings of what you would like to see from that community. So that's just a really quick overview of finding those communities. I do recommend to have a look through and see what you are interested in, and very much join anything that is of interest to you so you can keep up to date with what's happening in there. The other community we do have, which is, we've sort of kept it separate, but everyone that does join the platform as a user gets added to the collaboration corner. So some of you, if you've already logged onto the platform before, you might be familiar with this. This is a community, or just think of it as a working space where you can introduce yourself, you can share project ideas, you can register, I guess, projects that are in need of a property or a property that is in need of a project. And the idea of this is it's going to help Landcare, as well as everyone else in the broader Landcare network, be able to connect with the right people and the right projects. So it's a nice one-stop shop to really highlight, something great you're working on, or something great you could potentially be working on with someone. So you'll probably already find there's quite a few good conversations happening in here. But if I guess it's what we're hoping users will be able to do in this area is just showcase project outcomes. So if your group has received a grant for something and you've completed a project, highlight what has come out of that. Share, this is where you could start a new post and share pictures and just share general feedback on things that were great with how you did the project, any challenges you faced, what you did to resolve those challenges. It's a great space to share all that information so that others can benefit from what you've done. It may also prompt others to reach out to you if they've got any other questions, and it's just a nice way to really share that knowledge, which at the moment gets siloed, I guess, between groups and different levels of the organisation that you might be a member of. So we really strongly encourage you to have a good look around in here. Definitely, let us know if you're not comfortable with doing a discussion post. You can even just reach out to either Emily Mason, who we did have a quick sneak peek at her profile as the community manager, but we also have a contact and support form that you can view by going to the support page. So do reach out. There's always someone to help with any questions. And you can also just directly message members. If you find someone on here who, for example, if I click on Jenny's profile here, I can actually reach out to her if I'd like to. So have a look around. We'd strongly encourage you to have a look at the collaboration corner. It's there literally to help you collaborate with others. And yeah, we hope that is what everyone does. So what I'll show you now that we've gone through the collaboration corner is how to start a discussion. So there's a couple of ways to do this. And remember what I mentioned before, that ideally you're nominating a topic area for your discussion. So I do strongly recommend that you have a look at that list and post your discussion in the most relevant area. That's just to help make sure that the right type of people see it. And if you are asking a question, you're more likely to get an answer if you've put it in the right community. So whether you're in the community or not, you go to the Create button, which is in the top right-hand corner. This gives you all the options for creating a new discussion. You can also just ask a question here, which is a particular, it'll tag it in a particular way for you. It's also the same place where you can upload a library entry or a blog post. But for the moment, I'm going to select the discussion thread. So that brings you to this page. So here, if you've started that from a community, sometimes it can detect what community you're in, but for the moment, it's not detected that I selected any particular community. So I'm going to select it now. So I'm going to put into, let's put it in invasive weeds and pests. So I'm going to ask a question maybe, actually, rather than a discussion. It's very similar. It'll just be tagged as a question, which will highlight to other users that you're awaiting an answer. I'm going to pick the topic. So because I've selected invasive weeds and pests, this is actually a topic tag. So whatever community you've selected, that tag will come up here. So you don't have to type anything out in particular. You just select it. It'll tag it with that. So if any users are searching a particular topic, your question will come up in that search. I'm going to type how to get rid of blue passion flower. You can go into as much detail as you like here. Do I get rid of it? Mind you, I have gotten rid of it, and it was a lot of hard work digging out all the roots that I could find very carefully. So don't plant passion fruit if you're not aware of this. What I can also do, which we did before as well, is this enables you to put images in again, or even a video. So if you've got, I don't know, if you've taken a video and you've uploaded it to YouTube, you can take the embedded code from YouTube and put it in here, and that will embed the video for you. I don't have a video today, so I'm just going to go back and upload the image again. So very similar screens to what we've seen before. I'm going to select this from my computer. So here's a picture of passion flower. I'm just going to select that to be original size again, just because it's got a bit more oomph when people see it. I can also add attachments to this as well. I'm just going to add this in for this example. I've got a weed control handbook from that I found on one of the New South Wales government sites. So I'm going to upload that to share along with this question. And this could be, or depending on what your question is or whether it is a discussion, you can put in any resources that you've created or your group's created and showcase that to others. It might help others depending on what the topic is that you're talking about. So do think about this, and you can share things in there. I can also, if I wanted to, add in links to any other sites I found information on, or if you have your own group website, share a link back to your group's website. It's a great way to drive traffic back to your website and keep users coming back to you for information. So use this as a platform to help, I guess, elevate and get your content seen by others other than people that already know your website. So once I've done that, so I've put in a name, I've put in a picture, you can to an extent format your text as well. So I can add in bullet points, I can put in numbered lists, I can make things bold. I can also add in other hashtags as well. So I'll just quickly touch on that. So we have put a whole series of predetermined hashtags in here to help filter information down. So if you were putting something up about, for example, grants and funding, I can click that. That will make sure that this appears for any people searching for grants and funding. Have a look through. You can keep adding more hashtags by just, you type the hashtag and then this box comes up. I can also start typing, for example, I can start typing Victoria. That gives me a hashtag for Victoria. I can also start typing, I can start typing NRM. We've actually preloaded many of the NRM, pretty much all the NRMs that are currently set up. So you can actually choose the name of the NRM if it's got NRM in there. So that was probably not the best example because some of them don't refer to it as NRM. But if I type in Vic again, my one is East Gippsland CMA. So it's a nice way to include various hashtags that are related to your post within it. So I'm going to post this. So see, because I nominated that as a question, it's come up with a question mark so people understand that I'm asking a question here. It'll have all my tags there. I do have an attachment close, and that's my profile username that we updated as well. So that's how people see me. So I'll just quickly go back in here so you can see what my discussion thread looks like. So you can see my profile picture there, my username, the question I asked, and my attachment as well. So what I'm hoping for is that another fellow Landcarer might know the answer to my question, and they'll hit answer and they'll type their post in here. Lots of people can answer your question. I can then nominate once the questions, let me just do this. It's a bit, you obviously wouldn't answer your own question. But just so you can see it. Pull up the roots. I can nominate whether that was helpful or not to me. I can mark this as the best answer. So if anyone else in the Landcare community had that same question and they came across my post and I had 20 or so responses, I can nominate that as my best or best answer. You can also nominate if it was inappropriate. Hopefully there's not too much of that. And yeah, you can go back and edit your post at any time as well by clicking on the 3 dots above your post. So if I go edit, that gives me the ability to edit what I've put in there. So if you need to put in a bit of extra information or there was a spelling mistake, you can update that. So that's how you add a discussion. How are we going for time? We're going okay for time. I'm going to quickly take you through to adding a library item. So going off that example of the PDF, so I'm in the invasive weeds and pests community. Oh, so look, it's already attached it as an item in the library automatically. So that's a cool thing. But what I might do is I'll show you a different way of adding that because this has come from an external source. I might want to link directly to where it's come from, which is a good way to, I guess, show where you got the information from and also give them, I guess, credit for the content they've created. So what I can do is I'm going to go to create entry. I can create entry directly from the library here by the button that says create entry, or I can go back up to the top and do library entry from there. It really doesn't matter which one you choose. It's pretty easy to add in both ways. So I'm going to go add in my create entry. So here it is. So I'm going to give it a name. Weed Control Handbook. It knows that I was in the library, so it's already selected this for me. But if I'm not in the right library, I can select the community it belongs to, but I'll leave that because that's correct. I'll take you back to this in a sec when we go back to the previous screen, but I can also put this in a folder. So there are some predetermined folders within the library just to help, I guess, organize the information being uploaded. It doesn't necessarily have to go in here, but it's a nice way to keep things organized. So what I might do is I might add this to the how-to guides. This is you can put in a description about what this resource is. You can then elaborate on who the author was. You can tag members in it. If it was from another user on this platform who created it, you can tag them in it by going at, and I might go, it's quite a few Emily's, but I can tag by their email, which will then tag them as a user. I can also tag, again, put hashtags in here. So same way that I showed you before, you can add a hashtag to it. I can add links, images, and everything else in here as well. The key part of the library entry though, I'll just select the topic again. So very similar to how we added the discussion, you select the topic tag, which was related to this community. Here, I can then select whether I am uploading a file, I'm uploading a licensed file, a copyright file, a hyperlink, or a YouTube video. So I'm going to select a hyperlink for the moment. Don't have to select owner, but like I said, if there is an owner for this resource that you're uploading, you can look them up in the directory, to this directory, and make sure that they're actually tagged in this post. You can also upload a thumbnail or an image associated with this, which will just display as a nicer image in the actual library view, but you don't need to add that in if you don't have one. I'm going to click next. So here is where I'm going to put my link. And I can actually put text, and you'll see the effect of this, but I'll just put lead control handbook. Actually, I'll put view. And I'm going to finish. So this is the actual entry. So obviously, because I haven't put much in here, there's not much to see. But if you put all your description in here and any images, it'll all display there. If I click the View Weed Control Handbook link, that will take me directly to the site. So that goes to the hosted PDF on the New South Wales Government site. So you can use this if you've got any resources you're hosting on your own group site or your own organisation site. So you can link back to there. We've done it for some of the Ralph resources, which will link back to there. I'm going to go back to library so you can see what this looks like in the library. So in the library, because this is a link, it comes up with the little chains icon. So you can obviously see it's a link there. If I had have uploaded a thumbnail, that would have displayed where that grey box is currently. So see, it's just a little bit more interesting to have a thumbnail on there. And then you can start seeing how people are viewing it or downloading it. And this pretty much stays in here for anyone to be able to access. So again, this is public. So just keep that in mind, that you are posting things that can be publicly available. I can still edit this entry if I needed to. I can copy the link to it and then share it elsewhere. So if you're running a project and you're not really sure where to put just resources in general that you want to make available to the people that you're working with, they can be hosted here. It's a great platform to be able to share that on. It's not too complicated. If the person doesn't want to, sign up to a Facebook or something, they can still access this resource without having an account. They just won't be able to respond to it or to upload anything themselves. So it's just keep that in mind. Have a think about whether that's the right type of thing for you and what the projects that you're working on. But that's how you would upload something to the library. And the last thing I'm going to show you today, as we're running very close out of time, is the events area. So here you can share events that you've got on pretty much. So if your group is hosting an information day, if you're having a bit of a field trip, these are all things that would be great to share with others, particularly if you want some new people to stop by and come to your event. They can be online events. They can also be just special days or anything, special dates that you've got going on. You can share all of that in the calendar. The information you post here is publicly available. So this will all be publicly available. However, if you're not a registered user and you don't have an account, you can't add an event. So just, again, keep that in mind. So you won't be able to see that button if you're not logged in. So what I'll do is I'm going to press add event up here. So in that top right-hand corner, I believe you can also create it from, oh no, you can't. So it'll be from, you have to be in the event section and you have to add it from that add event button. So here I'm going to put in Bushwalk Day. You can select the type of event it is. So I'm going to call this a field trip. So depending on which one of these you select, it slightly changes the option, mainly to do with the register button or whether it's just a view more information button. So depending on what type of event it is, I'm going to say it's a field trip. And I'm going to put this in, I'm going to put it in the native flora and fauna community. You can, okay, so here you can actually select how you want this to display in the events list. So you could select that you don't want it to display in the event list and just use the URL to share directly with, I guess, your project group or whoever you want to share it with. It just means that the public can't easily see it without you sharing the link with them. You can then select whether the event should stay up until the day it's on and then it gets hidden. Or you can display event always, but I'm just going to select that it's going to display up until the event happens and then it will be hidden. Display in search results. So do you want to display this event when people search for, well, the event itself or any content that you've uploaded or included with the description? I'm going to say that it can display in search results up to the end of my event. So you can I'm going to say come for a bushwalk, and that's my little tiny description, but you can obviously put in much more detail than that, and I strongly recommend that you do. Again, similar to all the other posts we have done, you have the ability to change some of the formatting of the text to make this look a bit more interesting. You can add in some images to do with your event. You can add in a video if you've got one. If you've got a registration form or any further information on your own website, you can add a link to your website through the insert link feature. You can also then select through here if you have an external site where all the event details are, you can officially put that in. It just puts a link in a particular section of the post, which we can have a look at later. You can select the topic again. So the topic, it is a requirement for all of them that you have to select the topic which is related back to the community. It just ensures that your content is properly tagged. So I've just selected that there. It's asked me to include an event image. So this is the image that if you have a quick squiz at behind my the this editing screen, there is a little thumbnail that comes up. So it just makes your event stand out a little bit by adding an event image. So I'm going to go and add an image again. I'm going to select my bush scene. This will automatically crop whatever image you put to the size. You may find that some images don't crop as well, so you might have to have a play with what works best for you. You could use this for, you could upload a logo or something for your event too. It doesn't necessarily have to be a photo. So I'm just going to put that in. So that's my image there. I can nominate a start date, that's today's date, and an end date. Choose my time zone. So it's for Melbourne. How will people attend this? There's a physical address. Put in. Oh, that's the venue. It's at the National Park. Oops. Don't paste in links that you previously had in your copy clipboard. Then my contact info. So that just selects your contact info in relation to your account. If it's some other contact, so if you have a particular person from your group or your organization looking after that event, you can nominate their details and just insert them manually. It's really up to you how you want to do it. If you have an external registration or an RSVP page, you can add the link in there. You have the ability to invite all community members. It's up to you whether you want to do that. So this is just people that are members of the, what community is in the native flora and fauna community. I'm just going to leave it as no. It really depends on how you want to promote your event. You can select yes, and that should be fine. I'm going to save and continue. Oh, I got to nominate a country. So obviously, if like this has just happened for me, if you've not nominated something for a required field, it will come up red and it won't let you continue until you fill that field out. So just make sure you fill out the bits that are required. Oh, and I have to put in an address. There we go. That's obviously not the registration form, but yeah, you put in your website address there, and this will now enable me to, once I select the state, so I've saved that. That will be listed there. So just keep in mind, the order of this list is based on date. With some of the events that run for a period of time, so not just a day, they will be listed first. So that's why my event's been listed further down on this page. That is the event there. So if I go back on the page, just so you can see, there's the picture I uploaded. That's my little description I put in. And people can hit the register button, which will go to the URL that I input. So people can go directly to your event page or your website or wherever you want them to go. And it's obviously listed down the address for me and the time. It's all listed there. And from here, you can then use that URL and further promote it on any of your other channels if that was helpful to you. So that is pretty much how to add an event, which brings us to the end of this session. which brings us to the last Q&As. So I'm just going to see if anyone had any further questions.
We do have one question from Zach in Longueville, and he wants to know what the benefit of using Landcarer instead of, say, a private group on Facebook might be.
Sure. So Facebook group, this does not replace your Facebook group, just to start with, and it doesn't replace your organization's website if you've already got a website. Look at this platform as another way to further promote what you're doing. You can use this platform to link back to anything you're doing. In relation to the benefit of this over a Facebook group is if you had any particular members in your own group, for example, who don't want to have a Facebook account, but still want to get information from you, it's a great way for them to access that information without having to sign up to Facebook. I know, some people will have an issue with having to sign up for different social media platforms. And then there's a whole different story about all the data you've got to provide to sign up to one of those platforms. So this is a slightly easier way to give, I guess, people within your network, your group, your organization access to information that perhaps they wouldn't otherwise be able to access. And like I said, it's just another platform where you can further promote activities you're doing and redirect people back to your site. So for example, if you're posting this same information on your site, I guess you're relying on people that either know your website. So you'll have your regular users that stop by that will see it. You also rely on search engines like Google, perhaps picking up your event details. This is another way where you can further promote your activity on your own site by providing a link back to it via this platform. This platform's obviously open to anyone. It's open to the wider Landcare community. It's Australia-wide. It's global, in fact. So it's just another way that you can further promote what you're doing to a wider audience. Is how I would describe that.
Amazing. Okay. Jack from Dulwich Hill wanted some clarification between the difference between, say, a thread and a blog, like what the different sort of content you would post on each of them would be. Sure.
So a thread, or like one of the discussion posts, if we go back into here, I would see that more as a conversation. So you're putting forward a discussion point or a question. And this thread, I guess, enables a nicer way for people to respond and interact with you. So as people interact with you, their discussions get listed down here. A blog, on the other hand, is slightly different in that I'd probably view it more as it's probably a slightly more formal article type of content. So if I go into this one, it's a little bit more detailed. You can still comment on a blog, but it's less about the interaction with other users. So it's not it's probably not as motivated by collaboration. It is just putting out some information to people.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. And there's another question asking, for someone who's not confident with technology, what should their first step be when trying to get involved with Landcarer?
I would say definitely go into your profile like we did before. So before you start making any posts or anything, I want to make sure that every user obviously feels comfortable with the information being displayed about them. Go and change your username to whatever you feel comfortable with. Go and have a look at your privacy settings. So again, my accounts, privacy settings, change those to what you're comfortable with. Once you've done that, a great starting point, I would just go to a community that you're interested in. Have a look at the conversations that are already taking place, and just feel free to start replying to someone, or even just to ask a question if you've had a burning question. This is an open forum. It's a very friendly space. There will be someone who will see that post who may be able to help, or who may have a bit of feedback or some experience with something that you're doing. And it's just an easy way to get involved. So absolutely, I would say update profile, make sure you're comfortable with that, because that people will see bits of that depending on what your privacy settings are. And then go ahead and up to that create button, or within a community once you've navigated to it, just put your hand up and start a post, or just reply to someone else's post just to start getting involved.
Amazing. And if people have questions in the future, where can they ask them?
So for everything we've done today, I would go to the training and personal development community. So we're hosting all of the items, I guess, that are talking about how to do something on Landcare will be hosted in this area. We're also encouraging members to post other useful materials and resources for, the training of volunteers or anything like that. They can go into one of these communities as well. But for the moment, the library here in the training and personal development area, this does have literally the recording of this session. So you can go back and view that if you need to. If you go back to the threads area, there is also the Landcarer FAQs. So if you have any further questions, just respond to Emily's post, and she will be looking for answers for you. And I'm obviously on here as well if there's anything I can help with, but that's where I would go.
Great. Well, that's all the questions that we've had. Thank you so much for this, Claudia. It's been very, very useful, I think.
Not a problem. I hope everyone else has found it useful. Thank you all for joining. And like I said, check out the collaboration corner. Make sure you introduce yourself if you are new to the community, and have a look at the potential for collaboration on different projects, or if you've got any ideas for anything, that's the place to put it, because it's the place that all members will be able to see, and it's the place where Landcare staff as well will be able to see your ideas too. So do add whatever you want in there.
Amazing. Well, thank you for joining, everyone, and we'll see you on Landcarer.
Thank you.